Promise I won't give you a long speech because we have 2 more elections this year and you may not come back, okay? So I just want to thank some folks right off the bat. I want to thank the baddest campaign team out there. When I say bad, I mean super bad. My campaign manager, Brother Tomas Gonzalez. Give it up for Tomas. My field director, Brother Miguel Chavez. The man who knows it's all about the Benjamins, baby, Brother Ben Herman, our finance director. Dan Hoffer, a brother who just makes things happen. Brother Scott Lieber, one of the quiet, strong leaders in the office. Brother Joseph, a.k.a. Ferris, a brother who helps us know how to communicate, our communications director. The man behind the scenes, David Halpert, and someone who came in every single day. We wouldn't have data without this brother, Brother Mark Katz. Give it up for Mark. Brother Frosty. Give it up for Frosty. And local IBEW Local 103. They know how to make a visual happen. And part of, now ladies and gentlemen, this was a tough campaign. It was cold outside. And in the very beginning, we had a few folks who stood with us and with me in the coldest of the cold weather. And I like to refer to them as the chosen frozen, okay? That's led by Brother Dave Eastman, Brother Rob Williams, Brother Jeff. Let's give it up also for CAPAC, the Caribbean American Political Action. Even though they came from heat, they still stood out in the cold. And there's a special shout that goes out to our oldest supporter, Brother Percival Perkins. Brother's 90 years old and was outside in the cold with us. I'm just going to go through these names quickly. It doesn't mean that we don't care, but we do want to get folks back to a little bit more Prince and Brother Troy over here. I'd like to give a shout out to Rich Giordano, Tony Brewer, Michael Gross, Michelle Wu, Liana Poston, Coyote Bright, Jim Thompson, Antonio Stroud, Stephanie Hung, and Hasib Sheikh. And those 3 young people, they're all young people. Actually, Antonio and Stephanie are in high school. And this is about passing it on. So let's give a shout out to them. Rajon Brooks, Jaquetta Van Zandt, Ola, and Marie Marshall. Let's give it up for all of them. Last acknowledgements and then we'll get to it. I'd like to give a shout out to all of the elected officials in the House. We have many of my future colleagues. I like how that sounds. We have City Councilor Linehan. We have City Councilor Felix Arroyo. We have City Councilor, a man who I've known since I was skinny, really skinny. City Councilor Charles Yancey. My mom worked on his first campaign. We have former City Councilor John Tobin in the House. City Councilor, and I guess I'm now his junior, City Councilor Matt O'Malley. Good friend of mine, City Councilor Conley. State Rep Liz Maya. State Rep Marcus Devers. Give it up for that brother. State Rep Liz Maya. State Rep Michael Witz. Okay, so with all that said, ladies and gentlemen, okay, Senator Sonia Chang Diaz. Okay, I'm sorry, you were standing behind the bright lights. I'm sorry about that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I heard from Cornell Mills not too long ago. He gave a gracious congratulations. Let's give it up for him. And everyone else who ran a very spirited campaign. Many folks came to me and said, too many people are running. I don't believe too many people ever run. It's up to you to decide. It's up to our community to decide. And it's a good thing when people step forward and take part in this thing that we call civic engagement. But ladies and gentlemen, 82% of the people in District 7 spoke tonight. And they agreed with the message of focusing on what we want, not what we don't want. Focusing on the future and not the past. Focusing on how we can get things done instead of blocking, okay? So what this is all about is our community coming together and answering a question that Brother Martin Luther King gave to us in 1967 when he wrote the book, Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or community? And I submit to you tonight that it's going to be community that brings us out of this difficult situation. With the stress on the last part of that word, it's going to be unity. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to keep you much longer. But I also have to acknowledge someone who is not physically in the room, but is spiritually in the room, and whose footsteps I walk in. That's my father, Herb Kwaku Zulu Jackson. I am now at an age, I'm at that age when, and many of us at that age, when your parents become right. It's kind of that weird age, right? And my father is someone who worked tirelessly, literally, until he passed away, to make sure people in our community, folks who look like us, women, and Boston residents, got jobs on job sites in our community. So I stand on the shoulders and in the footsteps of my father. And what I'm looking to do, and what I want you to grade me on, is how many jobs we're able to bring to this neighborhood, to District 7, a district that has for too long been neglected. Well, you know what? With me as your city councilor, it will not be neglected anymore. And ladies and gentlemen, I've so many times in this campaign stressed what this is about. We don't win by Tito Jackson getting in office. This is about the community winning. We win when people in our community are employed. We win when young people in our community get a world-class education in our community and don't have to leave our community to get that type of education. We win when we put the neighbor back in the hood and we can look at one another as brothers and sisters. And we win when the young boy that I met about 2 months ago in a barber shop, whose name is Emmanuel, very, very cute 10-year-old young boy. Brother went in, and we got, brothers got to get their hair cut once a week, right? So we were in there, and as we walked out, this 10-year-old boy changed my life. And he changed my life as we were walking out when he said, "You know what, Mr. Jackson? You look like the president." And I replied, "Emmanuel, I look like I ate the president, brother. You know better than that." But, I took him home and it struck me. It's important to think about what we want to do in this job, but it's also of utmost importance to understand and think about why we want to do it. And It's not a big deal that Emmanuel looked at me and saw the president. The big deal is that little 10-year-old Puerto Rican boy can, in 2011, look at a black man and see the president of the United States of America. And what's even more important than that, it's not about me, and what's even more important than that is that if he can see me as president, then he can see himself as president. And that's why we do all that we do. We do it so Emmanuel can go to a good school, so he can walk down safe and clean streets, and so Emmanuel can get a good job. A job where he can get days off when he's sick. Jobs that our brothers and sisters who stood side by side with me in labor fight for, right? And a job that will pay him a living wage, where housing will truly be affordable. And just maybe, Emmanuel will grow up and take this job as city councilor in District 7. But more importantly, why we do this is that dream and hope and aspiration that Emmanuel, and let's not, okay, hold on, let me back up. That Emmanuel and Amelia, because we can't forget the sisters in the house, and it is Women's History Month, that Emmanuel or Amelia will become the next president of these United States of America. I want to thank you so much for coming out tonight. Thank you for all the hard work. And just quick shout out, who is here, who started with us in 2009? Put your hand up. Who was here in 2011? Put your hand up. Keep them up. Keep them up. Now I want you to slowly extend that hand backward and give yourself a pat on the back. That's how we want it. Thank you so much and have a great night.